Hello and welcome back to List Of, the channel where we excavate the not-so-obvious corners of history to unearth the inventions that, well, that changed the world. You know, the ones that aren't plastered on every historical documentary or immortalized in bronze statues. Today, we're diving into a curated collection of forgotten marvels. Inventions so ingenious, so impactful, you'll wonder how they ever slipped your mind. And honestly, we're still a little mad about it. Let's kick things off with something that probably saved you a few awkward silences in your youth. First up, the ballpoint pen. Now, you might be thinking, forgotten? My Bic is right here. But hear us out. Before László Bíró patented his design in 1938, writing was messy. Fountain pens leaked, blotched, and required constant refilling with inkwells, turning elegant script into a Rorschach test. Bíró, a Hungarian journalist, noticed how newspaper ink dried quickly, and coupled with his brother György, a chemist, they devised a pen with a tiny rotating ball bearing that would distribute a viscous oil-based ink evenly. Imagine a world where every important document was a smudge disaster. Thank Bíró for your ability to sign your name without looking like you've wrestled an octopus. Next, let's talk about something that genuinely made the world smaller and arguably a lot more annoying for your neighbors. The radio telegraph, or wireless telegraphy. Before Marconi's famous transatlantic transmission in 1901, communicating over long distances meant laying cables, a monumental feat of engineering. Guglielmo Marconi didn't invent radio waves, but he was the practical genius who figured out how to harness them for communication. This paved the way for radio broadcasting, allowing news, music, and frankly, terrible commercials to travel through the air. It was the original internet, folks, just with more sea shanties and less cat videos. Now, prepare to have your mind blown by something that sounds like it came straight out of a sci-fi novel, but it's surprisingly practical. The aerogel. Invented by Samuel Stevens Kistler in 1931, aerogel is often called frozen smoke. It's a solid material derived from a gel in which the liquid component of the gel has been substituted with a gas, resulting in an extremely low-density solid with incredible insulating properties. It's so light you can balance it on a dandelion. Seriously. It's used in everything from spacecraft insulation to high-performance clothing. So, the next time you're warm in a ridiculously thin jacket, you might be thanking Mr. Kistler, who, by the way, was a bit of a maverick. Speaking of things that make life easier, let's turn our attention to something you probably use every single day without a second thought. The zipper? Gaius Lion Stevens patented an early version of a clasp blocker in 1893, but it was Gideon Sundback, a Swedish-American electrical engineer who perfected and patented the modern zipper in 1917. Before this marvel of interlocking teeth, clothing was secured with buttons, hooks, and eyes, or laces. Imagine the sheer time you'd lose buttoning up your jeans if zippers hadn't caught on. And let's not even start on the fiddly nature of corsets. Sundback's invention was so good, it basically made all other fastening methods redundant for most applications. Now, let's delve into a culinary revolution that, frankly, deserves more fanfare: the canning process. Nicolas Appert, a French confectioner and chef, invented the airtight glass jar in 1795, and it was later refined by Peter Durand in 1810 with the use of tin cans. Napoleon Bonaparte had offered a prize for a method to preserve food for his hungry army. Appert's discovery meant food could be stored for extended periods without spoiling, a monumental leap for food security, exploration, and frankly, for anyone who's ever faced a rumbling stomach on a long journey. It paved the way for modern food preservation and made your pantry a much more reliable friend. This next one is a little smellier, but incredibly important for public health: the sewer system. While rudimentary forms existed in ancient civilizations, the organized, comprehensive urban sewer systems we know today largely developed in the 19th century. Figures like Joseph Bazalgette in London, who designed the city's massive underground sewer network to combat cholera outbreaks, are unsung heroes. Before these systems, cities were often cesspools, literally. Imagine the smell. Now imagine the diseases. Bazalgette's work, though often underground and out of sight, was a direct lifesaver for millions and a cornerstone of modern urban living. And finally, let's end with something that literally brought light to the world in more ways than one: the incandescent light bulb. While Thomas Edison is often credited, the history is more nuanced. Humphrey Davy demonstrated an electric arc lamp as early as 1800. Joseph Swan in Britain and Thomas Edison in the US independently developed practical incandescent light bulbs around the same time in the late 1870s. Edison's genius was in creating a complete system of electricity generation and distribution. But the core idea of passing electricity through a filament until it glows bright and hot, that changed everything. It extended our days, made our cities safer, and allowed for late-night reading sessions that would have driven our ancestors mad with envy. And there you have it, just a handful of the brilliant inventions that often get overlooked. They might be forgotten by name, but their impact is undeniable. Did we miss any of your favorite forgotten inventions? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this dive into the annals of innovation, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to List Of for more fascinating facts and untold stories. We'll see you next time.